What is up, everybody? It's Rebecca Johnson of Supergirl Radio. We are going to be getting started here very soon for the final episode of Supergirl Radio for 2024. Not the final episode of ever, but this will be our final live stream and podcast episode of Supergirl Radio until we come back in January 2025. So this is our Christmas holiday movie that we do every year. So this time around, we're going to be talking about Chyler Leigh in Wonderland. I think, Morgan, do we have you? Are you good to go? Yes. Okay. I'm going to bring you in. Is there a dog situation where you are right now?
I'm dog sitting, so I am reporting live from my mother's house. Instead, I tried to create a scene with some of her Christmas decorations.
I love it. I think it's great.
I've staged. We'll see if Ralphie is gonna play nice or if he's gonna bark. He was barking. He is quiet now. So
you staged it like a window dresser,
didn't I?
I think you actually will get into it, but I think you put more effort into that.
Some could argue that on my limited budget of $0, I have done maybe a better job than the window dressers putting these gnomes beside me.
Are they gnomes or elves? Because there is a big distinction.
The
gnomes and the elves have beef.
Oh, okay. I did not know that.
Have you not watched the Santa Clauses on Disney Plus?
Oh, that's true. That's true. It's
That's
been a
all,
while.
like the whole thing in season 2 is the elves and the gnomes have
Oh,
beef.
see, I have to watch the show. I've
You
only
have
seen the
to.
movie.
It's so good.
This guy is clearly a gnome, in my humble opinion.
No, I
but
think
this guy is given elf. So actually, I'm surrounded by the civil war on both sides.
there's a North Pole Civil War going on behind you. You just don't know it yet.
If you see one of them like slowly tilt towards the other one to like slap them, just like let me know. We can't have this going on behind me.
No to the elf gnome violence that could potentially happen. Not cool. All right. Well, if you have your Google Doc and you're ready to go, we will get started and get to talking about Wonderland. And we have some news. So we will do that as well. So here we go.
McGurk! I love
Not
typing.
mess with my Google Docs, Meeksy.
Supergirl Radio is going live every night of the week. How do you like it? Is becoming a human burrito a plus or a minus? I don't know. It does seem snug.
I mean, they say you are what you eat.
Kira. I love that.
So I do a podcast called Supergirl Radio, and one of our segments is Lena Luthor, Boardroom or Ballroom, because
She looks like a boss in this coat.
Nasty Luthor like a different Luthor? It's not just Lena being mean?
No.
Helen Slater here. So fun to know that you're hosting a podcast called Supergirl Radio.
Welcome to Supergirl Radio, your source for all things Kara Zor-El. My name is Rebecca Johnson.
I'm Maureen Glennon.
And for this episode of the podcast, we are live and wired to discuss and review the Hallmark Channel Original Movie Wonderland, starring Chyler Leigh. This is I've lost track of how many Christmas movies we've done. We've done 2 Katie McGrath movies. We've done 2 Brandon Routh movies, and then we did that Holly and Ivy movie about the library.
Oh yeah, I forgot about all the library drama that was in that movie. Before we hop into some very important news, I did want to say that I was Googling Window Wonderland to try to just maybe just have some refreshers on hand. I watched it last night, but my brain is tired. And the first thing that popped up was like El Escaparate del Amor, which I'm sure I butchered, but I thought that was really weird that it would pop up with a different language title. And
what
when
does
I
that
translate that?
Yeah.
I wanted to let you know that it was translated to The Showcase of Love.
Oh, fancy.
Which I think is maybe a better title. So, anyway.
Yeah, that's good to know.
I call it Window Wonderland. You call it The Showcase of Love. We're both right.
Maybe, you said it was Spanish?
I think that was Spanish. Yeah, I definitely butchered the word showcase, but.
So maybe or is it French? You said amour? Is that in both?
More. It says Spanish detective.
Oh,
which
Spanish
is what
detective. Okay.
Which is what Google told me. So I don't really know.
Okay. If the Google AI or whatever says it's Spanish,
Google AI.
we'll
I mean that's rock solid, right? Why wouldn't we trust that? But yeah, if you Google that, Window Wonderland pops up, which I think is funny. I don't know why that is, but okay.
That seems to be par for the course with these movies where they have multiple titles. So that seems about right. So I think this is our 6th Christmas movie that we have now reviewed. So
yeah, that seems right.
I think that's right. So continuing.
Katie McGrath makes buttons too.
She's got to make more Christmas movies.
Dick Van Dyke is still alive. We can do it. Buttons too.
He could be in the sequel stealing her bread. I think we could do.
He's still dancing around. Let's dance him on over.
We can make that happen. I feel like there's another charity that needs to raise some money and include Jane Seymour in it for 5 seconds. So I think that should happen. But we do have some Katie McGrath news about something that she will be starring in soon. It's not a Christmas movie, but we do have some Katie McGrath news. So Before we get into our discussion of Window Wonderland, we need to get to
the news.
I'm gonna find the news. According to Deadline.com, acting couple Melissa Benoist and Chris Wood are set to play one on TV in Duo, a drama in development at NBC. Written by Wood with Rena Mimone, which is the showrunner of Mistresses, who is going to be the showrunner of this show as well. The project, which has a script commitment, comes from Warner Brothers Television, where Benoist's Three Things Productions and Mimone are under overall deals. In Duo, when a soft-spoken blue-collar worker, Wood, and a magnetic performer, Melissa Benoist, obviously, looking for her next break, unexpectedly cross paths. Their fateful meeting leads to a partnership that changes them both forever. The project is described as a family drama centered around a new two-person band and the disruption their rapidly rising career has on both their lives and the lives of those closest to them. Don't those sound like almost like two different descriptions for two different shows?
A little bit. I'll be curious to see how they interconnect those two things. I think it's very interesting that this is on NBC, because NBC very famously was the network that had the smash hit Smash for 2 seasons. It only lasted the 2, but it was a smash, I feel like. And so I didn't love Smash, but I did love some of the music.
It lasted in my heart forever.
So I think NBC's giving it another shot. They're like, hey, Smash almost worked. Maybe we should try again many, many years later.
We were so close. What I want desperately for this show is for Megan Hilty to show up.
Amazing. She should. I feel like there's a part for her somewhere. Did I ever tell you that
we can make it?
I saw Catherine McPhee in I don't know. It's where I think the building where Biddleman's Bar is in New York City. She was like singing in something in that building.
Oh, really?
And so my family and I were in New York City, and we saw Catherine McPhee, and we were like, should we say something? I don't know. So we just didn't say anything, but it was just kind of weird. It was like, oh, there's Catherine McPhee from NBC's hit Smash.
You should have went up to her and you should have been like, Catherine, I think you're the better Marilyn. And then like winked at her.
I should have. This is a missed opportunity.
Let her know you're like. Let her know you're cool. You know. Just a bunch of winking.
Yes. So I did see Catherine McPhee. That's my only claim to Catherine McPhee. But this is exciting. A new TV series with Melissa Benoist and Chris Wood. And it sounds like Chris is writing it. So that's new for him. So I don't know if he's writing the pilot, or is he like on the... He can't be starring in the writer's room.
Yeah, I've got some questions about that aspect of it. Like, I guess I would think that based on the way the Deadline talks about this, that it was written by him with the showrunner from Mistresses as the showrunner. So, like, is he writing the pilot and then the Mistress showrunner is going to be the showrunner?
That would make sense to me.
That would make sense.
So I feel like that's the way it's going. So I don't know if this is something we'll see in the fall, or I don't know if this is... It has a script commitment.
Huh.
So I guess they'll shoot the pilot? Is that how that goes? If you have a script commitment?
Yeah, I believe that means that, that they're going to get a pilot. Now I want to kind of skim through it. It says in development, so it doesn't say that it was ordered. So maybe we will see it. Maybe we will not.
Well, I hope it goes through.
But I hope it goes through because, listen, I love Smash. I thought it was one of the stranger TV shows I've ever seen in my whole life. If you missed that beautiful period of time when Smash was on the air,
that was a great time.
This is such a good time. Just giving us like inexplicable moments of television that you couldn't really wrap your head around. I would tell you that you should go back in time and watch it.
You should.
Know that it represents a period in time that we have passed by, but that was truly quite a period in time. When a show like Smash was all we could talk about. To be fair, even when it was on, people were hate watching it. People would watch it and be like, "This is the weirdest show I've ever seen." But they would be like, "I hope it never ends." And then because it turns out you can't sustain that for that long. I think this is a hearty recommendation for Smash. I think it's amazing. I've heard them over the years talk about like, what if we actually did like a Marilyn Monroe Broadway show, like in Smash, on Broadway with the cast of Smash? And like, I just want to say that if I was really rich, this is where I'd be putting my money.
This is where your investment would lie.
The thing that I would like, some people would buy like a castle. I would be like, get me the cast of Smash. We're doing it. We're doing it for real. Get me Hilty on the phone. Get McPhee.
Wasn't Angelica Houston in that show?
She was. Everything that you say about Smash to a person who's never seen Smash sounds like you've had a fever dream. There was a Bollywood number. There was a Bollywood number in Smash. Why? It's okay. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. They were having Marilyn Monroe offs in Smash like every day, every episode was like boop boop be doop boop. Like that was the whole show. I really could not recommend Smash enough. There were so many skinny scarves. I know it was in fashion, but nobody wore as many skinny scarves as the people on Smash.
Oh my gosh. Well, I really hope that NBC leans into the Smash aspect for whatever this is, this duo thing that's happening.
I don't know if you've seen, Rebecca, did you watch any of Nashville? Now this was an ABC show.
I have not, but I know of it.
This is also giving me some sort of Nashville vibes. Like I guess I'm just calling back to any show about music I've watched that was a little bit of a mess. And so I hope that's what we have to look forward to in this show, because both of those shows were incredibly fun to watch as they unfolded.
Yeah, I think that this could be really good. I don't know about Chris's writing ability, but obviously he and Melissa can sing, and they've both been on
That's
Broadway,
true.
so they do have that experience. And I will say, I know we laugh about Smash, but I will commend it for being different and bold. NBC was trying something. So
They were.
and NBC is home to a lot of live musical productions. So
That's
you
true.
know they're trying to dip their toe into this musical theater for television, so I appreciate that. So we laugh about Smash, but it was doing something new and different, so good for it.
It was ahead of its time.
It
And
really
also
was.
somehow behind its time. It was an incredible show. It was an incredible show. No, I really like you said though, it was going for something, and at a time when like you would turn on the TV and there'd be like 100 procedurals, to turn on the TV and be like, what could possibly happen on Smash this week? And always be surprised. That was something I feel like you can't put a price on that.
Wow, that was a great trip back in time
It
about
really
Smash.
was.
So I really hope this show with Melissa and Chris pans out and we get to see it, because also Melissa Benoist is so talented, and I think she should be somewhere that gives her the chance to shine and show those talents. So hopefully this will be the avenue for her to be able to do that for quite some time, hopefully.
And we haven't really gotten to see her sing much since the days of Glee, another insane show. So I feel like this could be like a great opportunity to see her do some real like musical theater performance, or even just musical performances, which would be really fun.
Yeah, I would enjoy it. Count me in for whatever duo is. Well, according to the Hollywood Reporter, Paramount Plus UK and Ireland have recommissioned psychological thriller series The Ex-Wife for a season 2. I'm
Ooh.
do we get this in the United States? I want
Is
to
there a
watch
way,
this show.
is there a way to get this? I want to watch this.
The Ex-Wife. That sounds-
Psychological thriller?
Supergirl's Katie McGrath has joined the cast in the lead role of Jen,
Ooh.
while Celine Buckins of Warhorse and the Castaways and Tom Meissen of Sleepy Hollow and Watchmen reprise their roles of Tasha and Jack. Jordan Stevens of Tucked and Foundation returns to play Sam. The first season, we'll learn about a little bit what the ex-wife is.
Ooh,
The
I'm
first
excited.
season, based on Jess Ryder's book of the same name that released in October 2022, focused on a young woman, Tasha, who was married to middle-aged Jack. While their marriage appeared happy, Tasha was haunted by Jack's ex-wife, Jen. Okay, I'm in.
Yeah.
Katie
me too.
McGrath is going to
Ooh.
haunt somebody? Yes.
Yes, give me this.
This is what I want. This is why you hire Katie McGrath to play any part.
Inject this straight into my veins, please.
Tasha was haunted by Jack's ex-wife, Jen, with whom he still had a close relationship. As a myriad of lies over fertility and infidelity ensued, the show culminated in a devastating car accident in which the couple's young daughter, Emily, is believed to have been killed. Oh, no, well, Emily didn't deserve
Well,
that.
What did Emily do in all this? Seems unfair.
Season 2, which has commenced filming in Cyprus, will pick up 3 years after the dramatic conclusion of Series 1, with Tasha hiding on the island with her daughter Emily. Oh, so Emily's not dead.
Wait, what? Wait, why is she hiding on an island?
I don't know, but
I
Emily is
missed so
fine.
many steps.
I think we missed something between
That's
season 1
fine.
and season 2. While Jen has moved on and is preparing to get married. Living under false identities, Tasha has started a new life for herself and Emily. However, Tasha is forced to abandon her fresh start when she learns that Jack has been released from prison early, having only served a year of his sentence. What did Jack do to get into
what
prison?
did Jack do? Jack! Dude.
Well, we've missed so much of this show. Jack appears to be a changed man, but who can each of them really trust? And can anyone truly change?
I think they can trust Jen. I think she's on the up and up. I've never seen Katie McGrath play a morally great character, and I don't even believe she could.
It's not even something in her wheelhouse.
It's not in her range. I hope Katie McGrath just like walks into every scene and like just immediately starts gnawing on furniture. I want to watch this so much.
we need to investigate how we watch The Ex-Wife.
I gotta find a hookup on this.
This sounds amazing. I am in. Count me in. So that is, I don't think it said something about when it would air or be available for streaming, but it will be on Paramount Plus UK and Ireland.
People, I'm gonna have to start Googling how to watch on Paramount Plus UK. Legally, of course. But
Yes, of
I
course.
wonder if I could just just buy it on Amazon or something.
Oh, maybe so.
Make that available.
That
Maybe
would
it's
be
on,
worth it.
Acorn. Maybe it's on Acorn. It's like a UK show. I feel like somebody in like my extended family has seen this. They all love like the British shows. I'll be like, oh, have you seen this one? And they'll be like, my God, that Jen dastardly.
I wonder if it's on BritBox.
It might be on BritBox. I like how there's so many different like British streaming services that
They have a lot of content.
Which one could it be on? Acorn on BritBox?
Yeah, we will have to figure this out. So look for Katie McGrath in The Ex-Wife on Paramount Plus UK and Ireland.
That sounds amazing. I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, and our last bit of news. According to James Gunn on Threads, cinematographer Rob Hardy has joined the crew for Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, the live action adaptation. I don't know why the word live action tripped me up on that one, but
yeah, I don't know much about Rob Hardy, but it sounds like he is a British cinematographer, and he's worked on Mission Impossible Fallout. He's worked on Annihilation. So yeah, he has a lot of big movies under his belt. Some sort of sci-fi leaning.
Oh
some
yeah.
action leaning. So I think I'll have to be checking out his filmography to check out some of his work. But I'm glad that we're building some of the crew out so we have more information about who's actually working on this thing.
That's exciting. So I've had Annihilation on my like to watch list
Me
for like
too.
several years now.
Isn't
And
that
now
the
I
one
feel
with Natalie Portman?
I think it's Natalie Portman. I almost feel like vaguely, I could be wrong, that the girl from Jane the Virgin was also in this, and like Tessa Thompson maybe. Yeah, it
Yeah,
looks like
Tessa Thompson. Mhm.
wow, I vaguely remembered like the entire cast of this movie because I just clicked onto it. Jennifer Jason Leigh is on it. Yeah, Oscar Isaac. I did not remember him being in it, but yeah, I remember when it came out, people were really liking it, and then I was like, oh, I need to see it, and then I didn't, and then as time goes by, you just kind of forget. But I now I have a reason to see it, another reason to see it, which is that I can be like, nice cinematography.
Maybe that's a Supergirl Radio Patreon exclusive in our
We
future.
could, since we
Yeah.
both want to see it.
And it's research
Exactly.
for Supergirl. So yeah, Mind the Gap says Annihilation is a sci-fi horror movie. So
Nice.
so you know, good to know that he has some of that genre under his belt. Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, of course, is not a sci-fi horror movie, but there is some sci-fi elements to it. So
And Creme of the Seven Hill.
just
horrific.
just the one hill, not multiple hills.
That's why it's so horrific. There used to be more of them.
Yes, Creme
But-
of the Yellow Hill, singular. So yeah, so we have more people added to the crew list for Supergirl One of Tomorrow. So we'll continue to get more information about that as it goes forward. And I think it's supposed to be shooting soon. So possibly starting in the new year. So hopefully we'll get more news as we head into 2025. Well, that does cover us on the news. So I think maybe we should get into the reason that why we have gathered today to discuss for our final episode of Supergirl Radio of 2024. We are going to be reviewing the Christmas classic, Wonderland, which was a Hallmark original movie, Hallmark Channel original movie, I believe. And the IMDb description for this movie reads, quote, a department store window decorator learns there is a vacancy for her dream job in the run-up to Christmas, only to find a professional rival has his eye on it too, unquote. Okay, there's a lot of stuff that we could talk about with this movie, but I really want to get straight to the heart of the matter, Morgan, and ask your opinion on the actual window creations that they have made. I want to get your, because you know you've been in photo shoots. You have some design.
I'm a woman of the world.
You've been to New York City many times, and I'm sure you've seen the windows at Macy's or wherever.
I have.
So I'm curious, how do you perceive their competition and their creations for this window? Because it's a way to promote the store to get you in McGuire's.
Exactly.
So would you go into McGuire's after looking at their windows?
Somehow they can tie that directly to sales. And
they did. They said the sales had gone up.
I think it's sort of like a testament to like how ill I am that like as soon as they said that, I was like, are we going to circle back on how they would know about this? Like, what's the ROI on that? Like, how would you ever figure out that somebody was like, well, I wasn't going to go shopping today, but that Santa, he's cool. I guess I gotta go in there. Like, how do they? He's like, I can prove that like our sales are up, and that's because of the window you installed this morning. It's like, sir, I don't. That can possibly be true.
But Morgan, they captured the zeitgeist, though, Morgan.
They did capture the zeitgeist. I was like, let's drill down on the ROI of how you're figuring this out. What's your calculation model here on how you're doing crunching these numbers? And I was like, you know what? No, let it go. Let it go. You can just not care about this. So I chose not to care about it.
Maybe they were asking people as they were checking out. You know, sometimes they'll ask a question on the screen. Maybe it'll be like, did the windows bring you in here today?
Was it the windows? And if so, which one? It's not a competition, but someone's going to win.
Someone's going to get
And
fired.
it should have been neither of them. I was gobsmacked at how bad the windows were. Truly, I feel like the tableau behind me that I made out of my mother's Christmas decorations around the house 5 minutes before we started recording is better than what was in their windows that they were using in this professional store. As you mentioned, I am a woman of the world. And as such, I go to like New York every year to go hit up the like the little Christmas markets. We go to like the Bryant Park market. Usually on our way back, I will be like, I have to see the Macy's windows, and I will walk past the Macy's windows. I've been doing this for a very long time. If I ever walked past the Macy's windows and they looked like that, I would be like, oh wow, retail really is dying.
Because I remember the Macy's windows being very full, very lively.
Very full, very lively. There's usually like a little frosting on the glass. There's like, maybe like a little ribbon around it. There's often some movement in the windows, which they only got to for the grand finale in this movie.
Right, with the train, yeah.
With the train. But like, usually there's like, it's like two bunnies on like like a seesaw, and they're like, and they've got presents in their hands or something. And you're like, oh my God, look at those bunnies go. And then you'll go to like the next one, and it's like old Papa Bunny telling little baby bunnies a story, and then pops out, and you're like, that's sick. And in this case, it's like a cardboard cutout of the Statue of Liberty.
Yes.
I was like, fire her right now. Honestly.
That was it. That's all she had in there.
Chyler, I'm on your side, but I also think you should be fired. This is bad.
Wasn't it a cut? I can't remember. Was it a cardboard cutout with like a Santa hat on the Statue of Liberty?
Santa, yeah, it was a cardboard, a fully one-dimensional. Like when we say cardboard cutout, it was not trying for any dimensionality. It was a flat cardboard cutout with a Santa hat of the Statue of Liberty, with like in snow, which was just like the kind of fake snow that they put down. It's like you put it down, and that's it. Just one cardboard cutout in a whole giant window. I was like, game over. We've already decided who's going to get the job, because it's the guy who put more than one thing in the window.
The Statue of Liberty wasn't even green. Wasn't it like an actual cardboard cutout?
She's like, it's minimalist. I was like, girl, no.
And aren't those supposed to sell things that are in the store? Like, what was the product in that Statue of Liberty window?
So sometimes they do sell things in the store. Sometimes they are just like fun nonsense, where it's like, oh my God, the bunnies are going on a. I use bunnies because I think 2 years ago there were bunnies in the windows, and I was like, this is sick. But it was like, look at them skating around, or like, look at these people doing this thing, or like, Miracle on 34th Street like scene or something like that, where somebody's opening all the letters, and you're like, oh, that's cool. I like that movie. So it doesn't always tie into what's inside the store. Sometimes they've got like the big elaborate windows on like one side, and then you'll flip to the other side and it'll be like fashion, Vogue, but it's like fashion. It's a red dress. She's holding a Christmas ball, Vogue, and it's like okay, cool. This one's good too. I like the bunnies better, honestly, if I'm being honest. But I guess this doesn't tell me what's inside the store. So
Sure,
they gave up on that for sure in this version. They're like, no products. The product is New York City.
So she does. So these characters. So Chyler plays a character named Sloan, which I didn't pick up until way later in the movie. And what's the actor's name? He plays Jake. Her competitor's name is Jake.
I was trying to remember. The actor's name is Cameron. Oh no, that's the other guy. Paul Campbell.
Yes. Okay. So he is Jake, and they are competing for this position to be the full-time window dresser. And so they do a pair of Santa windows, and Sloan's Santa window is and Morgan, I just want to get your opinion on all these different windows. So Sloan does a yoga Santa with lanterns and coconut water.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thoughts?
Sure, that was a choice. I was like, okay, we're stepping up from the first window.
It was a better effort this time.
The first window was giving me poverty. It was it was giving me fourth grade class project
Yes.
right before break where no one cares. This one is at least like trying for something. It's trying to be funny. It's trying to be cheeky. My big critique here is that the idea of changing the windows every other day is psychotic on its face.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Like when you go to see the Macy's windows, like if you haven't been to New York or you haven't been to the Macy's windows around Christmas time, they don't change. Like if you see them on December 8th and then you see them on December 22nd, they're basically the same windows. Like they put a really big elaborate thing in there at the beginning of the season. They go, looking good. Everybody's like, great windows. And because they did a good job the first time, they don't have to keep changing them. That's the thing. If you do it right the first time, you actually save yourself a lot of effort and late nights and sleeping in the Macy's.
We'll get to
which
that.
I guess wouldn't be great for him. But yeah, the idea that they're like, oh my God, we have to stay up all night and put our new windows in. I was like, what do you mean new windows? Why do you keep doing this?
So yeah, she makes a yoga Santa for some reason. He makes a Santa man cave for some other reason. I was not big fans of the yoga Santa and the Santa man cave. I was very unsure about what that was about. And then they have Christmas Eve windows. These I thought were a little they keep getting a little more interesting as it goes along. So Sloane's Christmas Eve window is she hires live actors and they sit around a dinner table and eventually, you know, they're happy at the beginning and then they start a food fight because that's what happens at her family Christmas dinner. And so she's inspired by that. And so she thinks it's cute because she had a lot of fun with her family having the food fight. But when you do it in a window in front of a lot of people, it becomes chaotic and very strange. And so that one it starts off great and then it just falls apart.
Great. I feel like what the problem with this window wasn't so much the idea, but the execution. And I think a lot of that comes down to the directing. Like, why wasn't she telling the actors, like, you like each other? You're not trying to murder each other with mashed potatoes. Also, don't throw any mashed potatoes. You wanna throw a solid, like a dinner roll. You don't want to throw like a mushy thing or a liquid, right? Like that's gross. No one wants that. Like you want to throw maybe like a bunch of green beans. You don't want to throw a handful of cranberry sauce. What are you doing? What are you doing? But she didn't have this conversation with the actors. She must have been like, have fun with it. Never tell a theater person to have fun with something. If you have a specific vision, they're going to go big. They're going to go real big.
They did have fun with it.
After everybody left, they did a full sing-along to Wicked in there. You didn't see it happen, but I believe it did.
Yes. So she had the live actors. He though went in a different direction where he was like this was his turn to be minimalistic. He decided he was going to go like a colored room and then just a plate of cookies and a Santa hat. Evoking the idea that Santa has come by, he's eaten the cookies, it's Christmas Eve, he's now on his his work shift. He's got to go deliver all the toys to the children of the world. He can't be here. So he's left behind his cookies and he didn't take a Santa hat though. I feel like that's a magical component of his suit.
Yeah, I feel like that's going to go for a lot on eBay, first off. Santa left it. Yeah, my issue with every time that they were like, we're going for a minimalism thing is like, I think there's a big difference between minimalism and sad. And they they fall on one side of the equation, and it's not minimalism. Like he could have done something with the background. He could have done something and then just kind of highlighted it. Like when I think of minimalism, I think of like, those influencer houses that are sad and gray or like beige or something where you're like, okay, but they have they have furniture. It would be like if you walked into like an influencer, like somebody's nice house, and they're like, I'm really into minimalism, and you're like, you don't have a couch. There's like nothing to sit on, and they'd be like, no, it's minimalist. It's like, no, like there still needs to be something in the window. Like it's not just one thing. Like it's not just one thing on like a little centerpiece. Like do something in the background, at least some visual interest.
I think you could totally have fixed that window by making it someone's house, as if Santa had come by the house and eaten the cookies and left. So maybe you create like a fireplace in the middle of the room, and maybe have some of the furniture from the McGuire's department store and put a Christmas tree in there and make it like a little home.
Yes.
And I think you could make that work. Not a lot of effort, I don't think, would go into that.
That would be fun. In fact, in his first window setup where it's like them watching the TV, I think it's like Santa and Mrs. Claus watching TV.
That was a good one. It was one of the better ones.
Yeah. You could just take Santa and Mrs. Claus out, put the podium in the middle of it with the cookies, or all like a little table with the cookies and the hat. You're done.
Just reuse it.
That window did not look like somebody started and was just like, nah, I'm done. I'm tired. All of these windows, I was just appalled. Every time they would show a new window, I'd be like, what? No. That's not what it's like. That's not what it looks like. That's not what anything is like.
Okay, so let's talk about the Christmas Day window. This is the big one.
This is the big one.
This
They
is
went
their
all
last.
out. They actually decorated this one. Sort of.
So this is the one where they sneak into McGuire's the night before. They've been fired, but they want to go sneak in a building of a workplace that they have been fired from their positions.
Sure.
And they decided they're going to do a last ditch effort to really bring back the Christmas spirit. So
Rebecca, you say workplace, but he says home.
He does say home, and we will get to that. We will get to that part. The big twist of the movie. We will get to that. But the two of them, Jake and Sloan, work together on this final set of rooms, and they're connected now, so they're not separated out. It's all big one piece where there's a train set in one room that goes through the walls to get into the second one. It's a very homey vibe. They're able to display Jake's painting that he's been working on the whole movie, and they seem to really lean into the Christmas spirit here. And this is also where they are both being their own live actor people portraying characters in this window, so they are themselves part of the window. So Morgan,
like, we don't have to pay ourselves SAG rates, so
and they also didn't have to worry about people getting out of control with a food fight, so it's a better situation.
I would say if I was like walking along the street going about my Christmas shopping, and I looked over at the window and I just saw like two people macking on each other, I would think, wow, that's weird. I don't know that I would want to go in that store. It seems like a private moment. Like,
it feels like you shouldn't be watching it.
It feels like this isn't not quite what I want, but good for you guys. I just thought that was really funny that they're like kissing and everybody's like, yay! And then they're kissing more, and it's like, what's happening? What's happening here? Are you gonna just spend all day in the window like wah, wah, wah? Like I don't like it. But I do think the idea of live actors in the windows is kind of funny, like on its face. Like I would find that so disturbing as a person walking by to be like, oh my god, that's a person.
Not a mannequin.
Should they be in there?
So I guess just to play a little what if. So if we were the window dressers and we took their same concept of having the live actors, what do you think they should have been doing? Because they could have been wrapping presents. They could have been drinking hot chocolate. There could have been other like Christmas spirity kind of vibes in there other than what they were doing.
Personally, I hope they stand unmoving in that one position for the entirety of the day. They're
You don't
getting
want
paid
them
the same.
acting out things.
They're getting paid the same amount as if they were actually just at home because it's Christmas Day. But no, I think that they should maybe under the Christmas tree, like unwrapping gifts. Oh my God, look at this. You can purchase it at the store.
Yeah.
Maybe they're wrapping gifts, so last minute wrapping. We gotta hurry. Then they unwrap it again, then they wrap it back up. Give them something to do. Yeah, hot chocolate. Maybe they just watch the train. for
Oh
an
yeah,
hour.
they could do that.
Whoa, they're gonna get real bored in there real quick. Is my point.
It's gonna be like cabin fever in that room. all
You need
day.
to give them some little activities. Maybe they got like a puzzle and they're puzzling in there. Oh, and then they start arguing about which piece is which. Then they start throwing the puzzle.
Yeah, the puzzle pieces are going everywhere.
Yeah, I think it's so funny the concept of them just standing unmoving as models, and then occasionally just kissing and then just standing again. Like that's I don't like that.
It's a little awkward. But this window, this is the window that
This is
gets
the
them
one.
their jobs back, and they actually both get promoted to the big head window dresser position. So
Which I'm
it
so
won
happy
them over.
for both of them. I will say, are we sure we want to promote Chyler Leigh's character? We remember the first window, right?
The Statue of Liberty one.
She's been working on that a really long time. Not a good sign. Not a good sign if that's the best you can do.
I will say that I think, just objectively, I love Chyler Leigh, but Sloane's talent I don't think was as good as Jake. Like I think Jake did have her beat on the talent level.
I agree. I also think it's like a really funny, sometimes you watch these movies and it'll be like, he has a natural talent for music. Like he has a natural talent for art. I like that his natural talent is like for window dressing. They're like, oh my God, he's a natural. And you're like, wow, that's really a specific thing to be good at, like without trying. He's like, I just did a little doodle on my napkin. It's whimsical, but it's also really good at selling couches. like what? I thought it was really funny that they were like, he has a natural aptitude at window dressing. It's like, well, how can she compete with that?
He was very good.
He's a genius at window dressing.
And we should mention that not only was he a window dresser, he was an artist. He
was an artist.
He was also a model for other artists that he would pose for them to practice with because he needed a little extra cash because Jake is broke.
Can I just say really quickly?
Yes.
That this movie is doing a lot. There's a lot of subplots, which I love about these Hallmark movies. Is sometimes they have like no plot whatsoever and they're really boring, but sometimes they're like, that's not enough. More. And this is definitely one of those. One of my favorite parts about this movie is that they never resolve his homelessness. The movie ends. He still is living in the
McGuire's.
Yes. So I think McGillen's is like a bar in Philadelphia. He could be living there too. We don't know. I think it's incredibly funny to you think that that's going to get resolved because it's a kind of a big part of his storyline, and it just isn't. And I love that.
Here's my headcanon about that, because the other twist. So the first twist in this movie is that Jake is broke. He cannot afford an apartment, so he has arranged to have the code and some keys to stay in McGuire's at night while everybody goes home. He's living in the beds where the home and bedding part of the mall. He is living in those beds. He's using the executive restroom or something or other, and so he's living there. So that's the big twist there. The second twist is that at the end of the movie, at the very end, there's a reveal that the old man window washer that they've been talking to this whole time, who has given them wise advice and trying to sort of play matchmaker, and has been an ear for them to talk to, turns out this old man window washer, he is the Maguire. He is the Mac of Maguire. So he's actually a rich man who owns a department store, and he is now dating Sloane's mother. So and he also knows Jake really well. So my thought is maybe Maguire like ups their pay, like gives him a raise, they get a promotion, and Jake has a little bit better salary, and then maybe he can afford a place. Or maybe Maguire just buys them a house or something.
Maybe
They've got
he
a rich sort of relative kind of thing.
kind of like a
going.
rich in-law. Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
best. Yeah, that twist made me like laugh out loud, like hysterically. I was like, yes, incredible. I like that every character in this movie is a liar. That's sort of
That's
if you're
true.
looking, like thematically, the movie is about liars, like just like compulsive serial liars. And I think that's beautiful that they could find love at Christmas, you know?
And all the liars kind of get away with it too. So Sloane portrays herself as like a higher upper crust kind of a woman of the world,
She went
but
to Parsons.
but really she is the daughter of the bathroom attendant.
In
at
fact,
Maguire's.
she has a fake last name, which I think is incredible.
It's like Von something.
Von
Doring.
It's me, Sloane Von Doren. Well, I will say Sloane is very much a rich person's name. So she
True,
was
true.
already like step one, she was already in the door. And then she was like, the last name has to be fancier. Yeah. And then Jake is lying about not being homeless because he's living in the department store. And then, of course, Mac, the kindly window washer, is presumably watching this all happen, is watching Jake live in the department store and is just like, I could help this poor man out with all of my money, but frankly, I find this to be pretty funny. So I want to see how it plays out first. Thanks, Mac. It was like when you later learn, like, oh yeah, Mac gave me the building codes. It's like Mac didn't want to give you like enough money for a hotel room, though. Mac was like, "No, man, this is great. Honestly, this is super funny."
He just wanted to see how Jake would handle
Mac
everything.
is bored. Okay, his wife died 4 years ago. He doesn't have anybody to argue with anymore, and so he's gonna meddle in the lives of his employees. This is a totally normal thing to do.
Also, Sloane's boyfriend Kenneth, who was played by Cameron Matheson of All My Children, if you're a soap opera fan, you would probably recognize him. He lies about going out to dinner with this other lady, and Sloane is not a big fan of that. So, yeah, a lot of liars in this movie. So that is for sure. Let's see. Is there anything else that we are missing that we didn't talk about that maybe you would want to get to? I'm trying to think what else was a storyline in here that we needed to cover.
I guess there is the boyfriend storyline where she is lying to her very stereotypically rich boyfriend who's like, oh, a poor. My favorite scene in the whole movie is when his limo is always pulling up. His town car is always pulling up.
He's always in that car.
He's always pulling up to random places. In fact, I think the main character, Jake, is like, does he ever get out of the car? And it's like, no, he doesn't.
He doesn't.
But the town car pulls up to like the back where she's talking to her mom, and her mom, like, she comes over to the car, she's talking to him, her mom comes over, she's having a cup of coffee.
It's like eggnog, I think, maybe.
Or eggnog does make sense for a Hallmark movie. And then he's like, kind madam, and then he just tosses a bunch of coins into her cup. He must have seen her take a drink out of it, like only a moment before.
He pretended like he didn't know, but he probably did.
Incredibly funny. Also, she just looks like a person outside drinking a cup of coffee. There's nothing about her that screams like that. She's like panhandling, and instead he's like, oh my God, a pour. Here, take a quarter.
Yeah, so I guess you could, if you were going to analyze this as a film, I would suggest that the writers were going for Sloane has a choice to make. Does she go with the rich man who doesn't seem to really love her, but then she also has this broke homeless guy who she kind of doesn't like at the beginning, and it was kind of annoying for a lot of it while they were just bickering back and forth. But maybe the poor broke homeless man is the better option for her.
But maybe they have a shot at love. Yeah, I did like I did think that was very funny. That like he was like so stereotypical. Like oh, you're not coming to Aspen with us?
Yeah, Aspen for Christmas is so
Aspen
typical
for
of these
Christmas?
movies.
I also this came out I think in like 2013.
Yes.
So it's over 10 years old, which is unthinkable to me. Because 2013 doesn't feel that long ago to me. But I guess it was a long time ago.
It is, yes.
And you could kind of tell in like the fashion, like some of the outfits that Chyler Leigh's character that Sloane was wearing, like her little collared shirts and stuff. I was like, oh, I guess we were going through like a really preppy moment in the 2013s, huh?
That sounds right. But I will say that the performances were fairly good. I didn't have any problems to where I was like taken out of a scene because I felt like, oh, this is weird. I feel like it's just Chyler Leigh being Chyler Leigh. Like they were all playing the parts as they were written, I think, to a believable degree. So I had no issues with any of the performances. So I will say that they all did a pretty good job with the roles that they had.
I agree. I think Chyler Leigh was really fun in this movie. I think like the movie honestly was fun. I think it was like zippy, like the dialogue was good, like the little back and forth bickering between her and Jake was fun. And I think Jake's character being like a little bit more snarky was kind of fun too. It like kind of added some levity to like the Christmas cliche of it all. I love that the boss character is like just randomly kind of like crazy too. He's like, oh my god, we got to get these windows. Like if we don't get these windows, the whole season's over. It's like, I don't think that the windows are really that important. But okay. Also, I think we forgot to mention that it breaches containment somehow and then becomes like a media story that they're both competing over these windows.
Oh yes, was it the New York Times?
Yeah, I think it was the Times. It is never explained how this happens and how they would ever in any way find out about this unless somebody walked past the windows and were like, wow, these are much worse than they were last year. What's going on? A journalist walked by and was like, there's a story here. I can smell it. These are very bad windows. But yeah. Then they end up in the news. It's like, it's all everyone's talking about. And it's like, you live in New York City. I cannot believe that would be true.
Yeah, and the pictures they took of them were horrendously bad. I mean,
bad.
They acted like they were taking pictures as if they were doing like a magazine shoot, and then they showed the pictures on the screen. I was like, who took these? It
was terrible. So funny. It's also really funny because Chyler Leigh in the story, they get stuck in the building overnight. Even though, like, we later learn he had the override code the whole time, that sly dog. But they get stuck in the building overnight, and she is in her fancy dress because she was going to go to her rich guy boyfriend's party. And then the next day, it's like, oh, didn't you know the Times photographer is coming? Like, yes, it's not ideal that you slept in the department store and you're probably all mussed, but you're in a really good outfit. So in some ways, this is a best case scenario.
True.
Like, go to the bathroom real quick, like touch up your makeup.
Freshen up.
Pat down your hair, and then just get out there and go. Like, I don't see what the problem was. She's like, you can't take a picture of me this way. I was like, what, in a nice formal outfit? What are you talking about?
And also, if she had to get some makeup or something, they have makeup counters at the mall. Like, they could just
You're kind of in the ideal place for this to happen.
You could buy a new outfit if you didn't want to wear the thing you wore yesterday.
So much is available to you in a department store. It's kind of a whole thing.
And her mom gave Jake that key to like the executive bathroom where I assume he's taking showers. If she wanted to go freshen up and take a shower, she could go do it.
Exactly. It's like, why is this the way that she was acting was so funny to me, because also, as in all media, whenever a character is like, I look terrible, they don't. They look more beautiful than I will look on my most made up day. And so here is Chyler Leigh with her perfect hair and makeup in a very nice party dress, being like, you couldn't possibly take a picture of me this way. I'm hideous. And I'm like, great, thanks. like could we at least have like messed up her hair or smudged her makeup or something? Also, another funny thing is like when they get up in the morning, she's like, well, I guess you got your wish and you see me without makeup. And I was like, man, that is literally not how makeup works. If you put it on and you do not take it off, it stays on.
It might actually get on him.
Yeah, like it's still on your face for sure, unless like at some point you wiped it off, which it doesn't feel like you did. So I was like, I thought that was also, I have eyes that can see your full face of makeup.
Yeah, she did not look like she was not wearing makeup.
No.
Yeah. How do you feel? Because this is it's intended to be a romance. It's supposed to be a rom-com for these Hallmark original movies. What did you think about the romance? Do you think it felt earned by the end of it?
That's an interesting question. Yes and no. I feel like the script gave me like a lot of like, these two characters have a lot in common. These two characters get along really well. But I don't feel like it gave me any like sexual tension. It didn't give me that thing of like, I like you romantically. I got a lot of like, you know what? You're not so bad. But it's usually the next step is like, you know what? You're not so bad. And also, are you cute? And they tried to do that in like the scenes where they got locked in the building. And I did not feel like the chemistry was overwhelming in those scenes. I was like, I knew what they were going for. It didn't quite get me there. And I don't think that was either of the actors' fault necessarily. I just didn't feel like either the script had enough of like them falling for each other. It felt like there was so much other stuff going on in this movie. There was like her mom, who's the bathroom attendant. There's her uncle, the plumber, who she's always stealing food from. There are so many windows. There was his painting he could not figure out how to finish. So like there's a lot of plot lines going on. I think they kind of forgot the romance in the rom-com.
I think they gave it their best shot. I do think that they tried to develop it when they got locked into the mall together. Also, I thought they tried to develop that as he came to her family's Christmas, December 23rd dinner. I thought some of that was nice, that he was blending in with her family. It came right after the town car riding Kenneth boyfriend was very upset that she had lied to him about her last name and who she was, and if she was poor he wasn't going to have anything to do with her. But here Jake is going to her family's Christmas dinner and just blending like, right in.
I can pretend that I don't know your poor family. Is that okay? Yeah, I did like the scene where he comes to her like family Christmas because he is obviously homeless and clearly can't get back to his home for Christmas, and she's like, he fits right in, like look at him throwing those dinner rolls.
I was actually really upset they were throwing dinner rolls. It was like, don't waste that bread.
That's perfectly good. Somebody spent some time making those. How dare you?
That's good bread for a dinner like that. Don't just throw those on the floor. What are you doing?
This is why I'm fundamentally against food fights. That's all good food.
Yeah, yeah. If it was bad food, yeah, maybe I get it. But if it's
Cafeteria
good,
food, go nuts.
yeah.
If I just made a dinner and you're like, playfully, let's have a food fight. No, you don't. I worked hard on that.
I would take
How
that
dare
as an
you?
insult.
I would be mad. Christmas would be canceled that year.
Yeah, I think they did enough to get it kind of there. I don't know that it fully worked all the way, but I think they did a fair amount to try to get you on their side in terms of um getting them to fall in love. So I thought it was okay.
Yeah, I thought it was like I've seen some of the Hallmark ones that are like a little bit less convincing than that. Like they'll like fall in love like immediately, or they fall in love and you're like, I don't know, I don't see it. But this one, I think that they did really build up the relationship between the two characters. I felt like it needed like a little bit more into the romance. But at like a tight 90 with 150 plot lines to resolve, I can understand that some things get lost in the shuffle. I think that they did a good enough job. I was having a fun time. I was like, oh my God, that's the guy, the CEO, like that's the guy who owns it. My world is askew. Listen, I was not expecting an M. Night Shyamalan level twist in this Hallmark Christmas
His
movie.
name was Mac Morgan.
It was there the whole
It was
time.
the whole time.
I see dead people. Oh my God. Yeah. So, listen, I give it props just for truly surprising me in the final hour.
I was surprised they didn't go ice skating. They kept talking about ice skating a lot.
They did talk about ice skating a lot. In fact, I think in the painting, he has them ice skating.
And in the final window, they have 2 pairs of ice skates.
Yeah.
Like, is sitting in a chair.
I feel like that was like Chekhov's ice skate. Why did we never see them ice skate?
I thought for sure that movie would end with them skating at Rockefeller Center.
Yes, because she mentions, she's like,
Yes.
oh yeah, I skated at Rockefeller Center.
So I don't know how that didn't happen, but
They missed that. They were too busy creating the complicated tableau that was their window. I will say I would not have expected to learn anything from a Hallmark Christmas movie.
Oh, did you
But
learn something?
But I did learn something, which is I truly did not know the story about Salvador Dali having done window displays
I
at
didn't
one
know
point
that
in his
either.
career and flipping out about it. And I was like, that feels too specific to be made up. So I Googled it, and it is indeed real. And I'm going to read up on it later. But I was very excited to be like, a fun fact. And then if I ever get to trot this fun fact out in a social setting, which is inevitable, right? Like, that's
Of course.
definitely gonna
It's
happen.
going to come out.
I can be like, I actually learned that from Winter Wonderland, the Hallmark movie starring Chyler Leigh, or as it might be better known, what was it? Showcase of Love. You
Please.
might know it as Showcase of Love.
Please share the review and the passing along of this Christmas classic
Of course.
that we
I
have
will,
watched.
I will mention it in every Christmas gathering I go to now. Like, have you guys watched the 2013 classic Window Wonderland?
I'm sure they'll have lots of opinions about it.
Oh my God, everyone's going to.
So I guess unless you have something else, I guess we can wrap up. Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
I liked this a lot, actually. I feel like at some point we should do a ranking of all of the Christmas movies that we've watched for the podcast, and like a definitive ranking, because I would be interested in like how does Window Wonderland stack up against the 9 Kittens of Christmas, right?
Well, why don't we do it right here, and then for the next one we'll do a fresh one.
Oh my God!
So
Okay.
we've got the 2 kitten movies.
Okay, 2 kitten movies.
And then we've got Holly and Ivy.
Holly and Ivy.
And then we have the 2 Katie McGrath, Buttons and A Princess for Christmas.
And a Princess
Princess for Christmas.
for Christmas. Or any of its other titles.
Yeah, it had multiple titles.
And then Window Wonderland.
Yes.
So that's the 6. Okay, this is very difficult. What would have been my number 1? It's not Buttons.
Is it not?
It's not Buttons. I'm so sorry. You know, I feel like my number 1 is probably A Princess for Christmas.
Okay.
She does dance and rap. Or he raps, somebody raps. I remember
there was some rap, yeah.
Immediately being like, well, I gotta put that in my no file in my brain and forget about it immediately. So that one was great.
I think I might go 9 Lives of Christmas. The first kid movie.
I think
that's going to be my first one.
I think
so.
My
what's your number 2?
I think my second is the 9 Lives of Christmas.
Okay.
Because Cats, obviously, Brandon Routh, obviously.
Yeah.
We got our boy whose name I can't remember the name of the cat.
Oh my gosh!
What was his name? Was it like Argus or Argyle or something?
What is that cat's name? Oh my gosh!
Christmas. Okay, they'll definitely have to say his name.
We're going to have to look this up now.
No, okay, maybe. What was the original one? Wait, the 9 Kittens of Christmas was the sequel. So what was the
9 Lives of Christmas?
9 Lives of Christmas. Okay, that makes sense.
What the heck name is that cat? What
is his name? We had Queenie, obviously.
I mean, we remembered Queenie really well.
I remember Queenie because of how they did her dirty in the sequel.
They totally killed her off for Ambrose. Yes,
I had to look it up. We had our boy Ambrose. We had our Queenie. I think that's an easy number 2 for me. I mean, if anybody had rapped in the movie, it might have gotten number 1, but there was no castles, no rapping. So,
did we go number 3?
What's your number 2?
My number 2. Ooh. I might go Holly and Ivy.
Ooh, a twist.
Yeah. I think I thought the storyline of how like the mother died and she basically wanted what's her face to kind of watch out for her kids, and there was that nice romance between what's her face and
Jeremy Jordan.
That's his name.
Yeah.
I thought that was a nice little romance.
That was a nice one. That was a good one.
And I do have good memories of our discussion about the library, so I think that plays into
the library.
That's not in the merit of the film.
No.
But I think Holly and Ivy might be my number 2.
Nice. Okay. That's good. That's a solid number 2. I think my number 3 is I'm gonna shake things up. I'm gonna surprise everybody. I think it's Window Wonderland.
Oh, really? Okay.
I liked the lackluster windows. I thought that was hilarious. The whole premise of the movie is that they're really good at this one thing that they're both very bad at. I did not see that coming. I think there was a delightful amount of subplots. Too many, some would say. Not enough, I said. And I liked how some of them just didn't even get resolved. And I thought Chyler Leigh was really great in it. So I think I'm going to give Window Wonderland my number 3 spot.
Okay, I might also give Window Wonderland number 3. I thought it was one of the more consistent ones. Like they got you from point A to point B. Whether or not some of those windows were any good, I guess doesn't matter enough. In terms of like seeing it as a movie that actually completed the story and what it was trying to do. So I would say probably Window Wonderland for number 3 too.
Nice. So number 4, I'm going Holly and Ivy, just like you.
Okay.
I liked the library subplot. I thought it was great. Yeah, where would you work if your town only has one library and you cannot get that lady fired? So great thing. Libraries are underfunded. We gotta fund our libraries. It's got a good social message. And Jeremy Jordan and Mona Vanderwaal from Pretty Little Liars. I cannot remember the actress's actual name at this point. Janelle something. I thought they were good and they had like a lot of chemistry. So that one was fun. I liked.
And Jeremy Jordan had really good sweaters. I
He had
remember him.
great sweaters,
Yeah,
crushing the
he
sweater
looked
game.
great in those sweaters.
What's your number 4?
Number 4, A Princess for Christmas.
Nice.
Despite some of the sillier things, I did get invested in Katie McGraw's character and her trying to take care of her sister's kids, and the romance there I thought was pretty good. And there is like a ball where she is a princess at the
There
end.
is.
So that's very exciting. So I think I would give it to A Princess for Christmas for that.
Nice. I think I'm going to go for my number 5. Drum roll. I'm going to go The 9 Kittens of Christmas.
Okay.
I don't like what they did with the main characters. I don't like what they did with my girl Queenie.
It was not. They didn't have to kill her.
Disrespectful.
There's no reason for it.
But I liked visiting the world again. There were a lot of kittens in it. The kittens probably single-handedly saved it, despite the fact that nobody at any point in the movie thought, let's have like a movie Bible of how many kittens we have. No one ever
They could
thought
not
that.
keep track of them.
No one said it. That at some certain points they had 10 kittens. At other points they had 25 to 30. It doesn't matter. That's the magic of Christmas. There's always got to be a kitten for you if you want one. That's how the cat distribution system works. So I give that my number 5. What about you?
Okay, so I will say maybe you could read it as Queenie's death was her way of starting over with this new guy. So maybe you could but I still do, I think Queenie could have lived. There's no reason she didn't.
Queenie should have lived.
Yeah. But you could read it that way. So I guess I should say that.
Justice for Queenie.
I am going to say Buttons for number 5. And here's why, because the 9 Kittens of Christmas, I feel like was a sequel that did not need to get made.
It certainly did.
So I'm going to give it to Buttons because Buttons was a movie made for charity and fundraising for a good cause. And they really, some of them put some effort into it and some of them didn't. And but Katie McGraw was great in it.
She was fantastic.
She was the best part of it. And it was truly incomprehensible in a lot of ways.
It was truly a movie I saw once.
But it was a journey. It was a real experience. And I'm better for having watched it.
I'm a better person for having experienced Buttons, A Christmas Story. I'm giving Buttons, of course, my number 6 spot. Buttons is truly something that I don't think I can adequately describe as a movie or as a narrative film because it doesn't make a lot of sense. But it does exist. It was for a good cause. It had a lot of like big stars in it.
A great cast.
A great cast in honestly one of the more bizarre movies I've ever seen. And honestly, I thought about putting Buttons as like my number 1 as just like a lark. I really did because I don't know that I've ever had more fun talking about a movie.
Well, that's one of the best episodes of Supergirl Radio.
After having watched it, and also the experience of watching Buttons itself was like, I was like, have I taken an edible? Like, did I forget? What's happening here? Why can't my human brain wrap around the images I'm seeing on my screen? Why does nothing make sense? And I feel like that experience is not one you have very often with a movie. Like, usually you're like, okay, I don't like this movie because I don't think it's very good. Or I do like this movie because I think it's great. It's not, what am I watching? And for that reason, I feel like it's either the best or the worst of the movies. I was like, I want it to be true to myself. Like, nobody rapped in it. So obviously I had to choose words. But man, Buttons was an experience. And honestly, one of my favorite episodes that we've done. Like,
one of the greatest. It would be in my top 10 Supergirl Radio.
So good. So good. We had so many questions.
Yeah, shout out to Bill Meeks, who was our Katie McGraw Christmas movie consultant. He joined us for A Princess for Christmas as well. Yeah, I would put 9 Kittens of Christmas at the bottom.
I think that's fair.
I think we said all we needed to say in the 9 Lives of Christmas. So what are we doing?
Why did that need a sequel? It didn't.
It didn't. So I think I would. That's why
You're going to bring on younger, cuter cats? How dare you? How dare you?
That's an affront to Ambrose.
Do you know how hard it is as a middle-aged cat in this industry? Just trying to make a living. How dare you do that to Queenie? Replace her with all those young kittens.
Well, I am glad that we have gone through some of these movies. We'll continue
the
to
definitive ranking.
There's a lot more Hallmark Christmas movies starring Supergirl actors that we can just keep going.
We've got
through.
more. We've got more.
So
don't fret.
So we'll revisit this list and see if it changes next time around. But I think that is a good way to recap all of our Christmas movie episodes that we have done. And I think that's going to do it for this episode of Supergirl Radio. If you would like to contact us, you can post a comment on our website at supergirlradio.com. You can email us at supergirlradio@gmail.com. You can like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram and X, all at Supergirl Radio. And I'm a little behind in putting out clips for Instagram and Facebook Reels. So I'll be doing that this week and this weekend. So I'll be catching up on that. And if you like what we do, we encourage you to give us a rating and write us a review on Apple Podcasts. Supergirl Radio is part of the DC TV Podcast and Multiverse of Color Networks. You can hang out with us as we go live and wired, usually on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern. We've had to do Wednesdays a little bit, but usually on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern on the DC TV Podcast YouTube channel. So make sure you're subscribed. And DC TV Podcast also has a TeePublic store. So if you're in need of new DC TV related t-shirts, tank tops, sweatshirts, hats, magnets, tote bags, pins, phone cases, pillows, or stickers, go to supergirlradio.com and click on the TeePublic store link at the top of the page.
And since we talked about a Christmas movie, we have some DC Comics related Christmas designs in the DC TV Podcast TeePublic store that we would love to suggest.
Yeah, so we have a couple of designs that feature the Teen Titans Go characters with Christmas trees and packages. And then there's also a nod to The Dark Knight Returns by Frank Miller with Santa Claus, which is pretty fun. So we have some DC Christmas stuff in the store if you would like to go check those out or get them as gifts for the holidays. Gift. Yeah, it would be a perfect gift. If you have a DC fan in your life who wants something for the holidays, that might be a
now is your chance
thing to pick up. Well, we would like to thank our legion of super sponsors for supporting the Supergirl Radio Patreon. These people are Michael, Anne-Marie, Yvonne, Nicola, Abby, Miriam, Nicole, Brian, Ethan, Danny, Majuba, Zachary, Annie, and Rachel. And if you would also like to become a legion of super sponsor, go to patreon.com/Supergirl Radio. And if you'd like to follow up with what I am doing, you can find me on Instagram at the Derby Kid. I am also on the social media platform Vero at Derby Kid. I also have a personal YouTube channel that you can find at youtube.com/duckmilkpride, which I hope to get to some new content in the new year. I also do a travel blog with my brother at Oasis Broom. So we're on all the social media platforms and on YouTube. So we will be doing some video stuff for a Christmas cruise that we will be taking for the holidays. Ooh. So hopefully we'll get some new content up there. And if you followed me on Vero, you would know that I recently watched The Batman by filmmaker Matt Reeves for a Supergirl Radio Patreon review that we will be doing. I will be making my case. This is just a tease for that on why this movie in this version of Batman, this is the worst Batman detective storyline. Batman and Gordon are the worst detectives I've ever seen in a Batman story in this one.
Is it because they're always picking up and moving evidence without cataloging it?
Oh no, there's much more to that. I will explain in the Patreon exclusive.
A clue, and then he like rubs it on his face.
There's part of it. Most of it I enjoyed, but there were parts of it with the Riddler, especially, that I was like, "What? You wouldn't get away with this on an episode of Law and Order SVU."
I'm jumping to some conclusions.
So we'll talk about all things Matt Reeves' Batman for the Supergirl Radio Patreon as we go about it. So Morgan, where can we find you?
You can find me on the internet at Mojotastic, including X and Instagram. And also, it's funny, you mentioned Vero. I have this year embraced the Letterboxd life.
Oh, nice.
So if you want to know what movies I've been watching, because I find trying to log TV on there too tedious, so I don't do that. But you can follow me on Letterboxd. I'm also at Mojotastic, where you could see my beautiful reviews of like Window Wonderland.
So you are writing reviews on Letterboxd as well.
I am writing reviews. They're usually like one sentence long, and they're usually not very descriptive. I'm trying to find.
I can't wait to read your
review
reviews
of Window Wonderland, which was I've reviewed this film. Let's see. It was. Oh no, I didn't write one. Of course, this is what I don't write one for. But usually I write like one sentence that's like something about the movie, or like I liked it. Kat and I follow each other on Letterboxd, and she's like, "Wow, you're really generous with your Letterboxd ratings, aren't you?" Because it's like a 1 to 5 star rating system, and I give like 90% of things 5 stars. And I was like, "Yeah, if I enjoy it, I give it 5 stars, like 9 times out of 10. If I didn't enjoy it, that's when I'm like, I gotta dock a couple stars, I guess." But like, I think I gave Window Wonderland like 4 stars. Like, is this a 4-star movie? No, it's not. But did I enjoy it? Yes, I did. 4 stars it is.
That
So,
is generous.
yes. So if you're decide to follow me on Letterboxd, and you're like, what is up with her reviews? No, I'm just going mostly off vibes. You know, like, this is not a scientific thing for me. I'm not a hard grader. Did I have a good time with this movie? 5 stars. I'm just worried because I finally this week watched Some Like It Hot, which I'd never seen before.
Really?
I know. And I gave it 5 stars, and then I was like, oh my God, yesterday I just gave Window Wonderland 4. Like, I don't want people to think that I think these two things are like equal, right? Like in the eyes of art.
You might have to rethink your rating system.
I stand by my rating system. If I liked it, 5 stars. And also, you can find me as a co-host on the Legendary Ladies podcast, where this week we are doing, we didn't get to it last week because the December is always crazy, but we are finally going to be talking about Wicked, which I saw in the theater and nobody sang. Nobody sang.
Perfect.
So it was a Christmas miracle.
I look forward to that review. I still have not watched it, but I'll be curious to hear what the Legendary Ladies say about it. That's amazing. That's amazing. I've heard good things, so I'll look forward to that and hope I have the same experience that you did of silent theater, just taking in a film.
That's all I wanted. That's all I wanted, and it's what I got. And I could not believe it. I was like, no one's even humming.
Amazing. Perfect.
Great.
That is the best way to do it. Yes. I like it. Well, I think that is going to do it for this episode of Supergirl Radio. But until next time, I'm still Rebecca Johnson.
And I'm still Morgan Glennon, and we'll have more Supergirl Radio coming in January 2025.
McGurk! I love typing.
Not mess with my Google Docs, Meeksy.
Supergirl Radio is going live every night of the week. How do you like it? Is becoming a human burrito a plus or a minus? I don't know. It does seem snug.
I mean, they say you are what you eat.
Kira. I love that.
So I do a podcast called Supergirl Radio, and one of our segments is Lena Luthor, Boardroom or Ballroom, because
she looks like a boss in this coat.
Nasty Luthor like a different Luthor? It's not just Lena being mean?
No.
Helen Slater here. So fun to know that you're hosting a podcast called Supergirl Radio.
Yeah!